Hey, welcome to Witching Hour Tarot. It is midweek. I don't recall, I think I got a recording out this past week, and actually, I did not. I think it was last week was my last recording. And so I've just been feeling a lot of change in the air. Things are definitely, spring is here, as I've been saying, so there's been a lot of shifting, a lot of energy changing, and I feel it in my body myself, like we're kind of letting go of the residual winter energy, opening up the windows, letting the fresh air in. It just started to get past 40 degrees up here in the Northeast, so really exciting in terms of cyclicalism and I love the seasons. I think that there's a lot of depth to just how the earth has evolved and all that stuff. So I think there's a lot of spiritual meaning. So I'm eager to see some change for sure. Like I'm ready. We've been seeing, because synopsis of all my readings, we've been seeing tons of the Hermit, Eight of Cups, a lot of Two of Swords, those are the three that just come to my mind at this point in time. A lot of hermiting, so people kind of just like licking their wounds behind closed doors. And the Two of Swords is all about mastery of your resources, of your intelligence, decision-making skills. And the Eight of Cups is all about being disappointed in sort of how your life has played out. So the general kind of vibe is someone has been looking for some sort of spiritual enlightenment and resting in the process, realizing that they do have the wisdom and the awareness to better their life, that kind of thing. So the first card that we have out today is the Queen of Cups. This is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Very psychic energy. This is very loving, very compassionate, very understanding. Let me see if I can think of an equivalent that's relevant. Shucks. Again, water energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. It's kind of reminding me, honestly, of Pocahontas. Like, obviously, this is more of a canonical representation. It's a white woman sitting on a throne. And I know Pocahontas is it's like based on like pre-colonial America. But she doesn't really strike me as like an earth sign, being from, I think it was like Native Carolinas or something like that. She strikes me as a water sign, and all those beautiful songs that she sings in Pocahontas and Colors of the Wind and like what is it, like, and I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. So like very spiritually connected, very psychic, like very appreciative also of just like the life and compassionate for the life around you. That's just what's coming to mind at this moment in time for me. So maybe you really like animals. Maybe you love the outdoors. There's another great scene where she's canoeing down a riverbank, and it's just like, I think the song is like, and it's just around the riverbank. And it's just around the riverbank, like something along those lines. So just, that's what it's reminding me at this point in time. Let's see. King of Cups. So we have a pair here. So this is, again, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Let me see if I can think of another character that's relevant that this reminds me of. Shucks. I think I said Dumbledore in one of my past readings, but same sort of vibe, like incredibly psychic, compassionate, understanding, connected, a leader as well, but also in a different, not in an overt way, can be very covert, and not in any sort of malicious kind of, example, but just likes to influence people rather than assert themselves, would rather influence someone to make a decision than like, no, you have to make this decision because of this. Like, not necessarily persuasive, like more influential. But it's nice to see a pair here. So there's a degree of, we saw an incredible degree of psychic ability in my last reading. There are like, I don't know, 8 major arcana, which is a huge amount. I love seeing this pair here. So again, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. We are in Pisces as well. I think, yep, we're still in Pisces. So I get sort of ahead of myself sometimes. So it's full Pisces season. We're approaching Aries very soon. So 2 of Wands. So this card reminds me a lot of Christopher Columbus and him actually wanting to discover pre-colonial, North America. And the 2 of Wands is all about, Wands are about communication and action. So taking action to also find, your place in the world, what your journey is. Looking out over yonder, and there's a lot of Fool energy encompassed in the 2 of Swords as well. 2 of Wands. So really just kind of making, seeking the best things out of life, or seeking new discoveries, seeking new answers. And you see he's holding that globe here. So someone could be very well traveled. Someone could be very aware. Let's see. Ace of Pentacles. So we saw the Ace of Pentacles in the last reading. This is like the golden ticket. I got a golden ticket. So maybe someone has been very inward reflecting, very also kind of just like letting time pass and getting connected to what's around them, and then exploring the world as well, and realizing that they have like the golden ticket to do so. Like they have everything in their power to do that if they'd like to. So let's see how this turns out, because the reading can still go a couple ways. The Sun. So this is a great card to see. This is again one of the most positive decks to see, positive cards to see in the tarot deck. This is, happy families. It's also yang energy, so the masculine. This is encompasses masculine energy, and it's abundance and positivity and good tidings and happiness and faith and respect and peace, and just very, very positive. It's the most positive card in the deck. So someone has a very nice future out there for them for sure. Seven of Pentacles. So 7 of Pentacles is all about putting your head down, and sort of still having work to do. So maybe someone still has work to do in terms of their emotional awareness, their psychic ability, their compassion. Like they still have something that they can do here. They're not fully developed in their EQ. Of the world. Yeah, so again, the world, like when I was talking about the seasons earlier in my reading, and the seasons and just the shifting of the seasons encompasses like everything that is the world. So the world is that representation of cyclicalism, of in everything that falls within each season, and all the little minor details, and all the migrations and all the plants that bloom, and just like, and the cyclicalism of it, like everything, the fig trees bloom, and I think it's Eastern Africa. It might be Western Africa in the Congo. I don't recall exactly. It could be both. But fig trees bloom, and then all these animals base their migration off of the blooms and the grass and the rainy season. So just like that degree of cyclicalism here. So there's a feminine here who hasn't really mastered their acute yet, and then there's a masculine who's done it, who has like full, very high awareness, like very just also like takes it all in as the seasons pass. Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords is all about defending what's yours. So maybe someone's defending like their dream in terms of like what the career is, or a dream in terms of what they want to do with their life. Four of Cups. So this is all about disappointment, but there's a stubbornness as well. So maybe someone passed up on an opportunity. They rather sit where they were than move forward. Getting better at reading tarot and articulating it. Before I just kind of felt it. Five of Cups. So yeah, so there's disappointment here, being left out in the cold, not having what you want, but like positivity from it as well. Like this is also like it's all the cyclicalism is as well, like, and you need the duality of things too. Like if you don't have disappointment, you don't have joy when it comes to you. Like life, unfortunately, everyone in this life, it doesn't, no one is excluded, and everyone is included. Everyone suffers. Suffering is a part of human existence. Defending your ideas, persuading people, influencing people, growing your EQ, becoming a better person. That's all, everyone does that. So there's no like reason to be so stuck in your disappointment for so long. You got to let it move past, like let it flow through you. That's another thing, is like I feel like this reading is like trying to encourage you to let the negativity and the negative emotions flow through you. I've just been feeling so much tension in my body. I feel like there's definitely some conflict in the air. Oh, and some heartbreak for sure. So maybe it's also like when you're not where you are on an EQ level, on an emotional level, and you know that you're hindered by something. Usually it's the past and things that have happened to you. And it's so interesting how we can just, self-sabotage ourselves and like make up these ridiculous scenarios in our head, or just our anxiety. Like this is also kind of like a nagging anxiety, this energy here. Eight of Swords, yeah. So this is like more of the energy that I've been feeling. I was like, this is very positive. the first suit, or the first deck that we laid out, like this is very positive. So Eight of Swords is about being victimized, and also again like that self-sabotaging aspect to it. So this kind of gives me the sense that someone is so comfortable too, and like letting time pass, that maybe they don't take any action and they end up disappointed. but you know, it all is just like part of like just all part of the cyclicalism of the world, and people come and go. You know, this reminds me of this energy. Like I was talking to this person. I think he was like 45 or so. I met him in the bank. I used to work for a bank in here in the Northeast, and I was there for a few years, and tons of patrons would come in and out, and this one person started to talk to me about and one of his friends on this very nice avenue, and he was like a restaurant manager or something like that, and in the mornings he would sit out and sip his coffee, and then his expression was, watch the babies be watch the babies, you know, go pass by in their strollers. And he said that there was his most favorite part of the day, to sit there, drink his coffee, and watch the babies pass by in their strollers. I think he was like a 65, 70-year-old man. So this is kind of that energy here, the King of Cups in the world, but here with the Eight of Swords, there's also like a self-sabotaging aspect. Like maybe someone's too busy just kind of observing, and they're so discontent. So this is the Six of Wands. So the Six of Wands is all about victory. So there's a victorious aspect here, even with the Five of Swords. Like this is all about like defending your ground, and there's also like a sneaky aspect to this energy as well, like maybe being creeped up on, and just like defending your ideas. But there's victory in all of this, for sure. So the Knight of Swords, the Knight of Swords is all about like a scout. Like you see how this gentleman is checking this lady out. It's like very much like checking out the situation, like very much like looking at what's going on. So maybe someone like, you know, like a wait and see approach. Like this is a wait and see approach here. Like someone is looking around, or someone just like, you know, is where they're at, you know, happy to like, or regular, like pretty content, or maybe not, you know, maybe not so content. Maybe they have that nagging, anxious feeling in the back of their ear. And my point is that someone someone's just watching, you know, taking their time too. But there's heartbreak, there's victimization, there's disappointment, there's stubborn energy. The Chariot. So this is all about striving, like, you know, striding forward and conquering. And the Emperor in the traditional Rider-Waite deck actually is the Chariot. But you see also there's a disciplinary aspect. You have to be very disciplined as well. So maybe someone passed up on an opportunity out of discipline, out of need to conquer more. Maybe they thought they were going to get something else. Maybe they thought things were going to be different. Let's see. So who... there's a lot of movement. Like as I'm reading this, I'm getting like a lot of sort of like downloads, spiritual downloads as well. Like just my, like I feel like I just kind of like within the past couple minutes like opened up my like a portal for psychic downloads, and there could be moving. There's betrayal, as like there's betrayal here. There's someone who made the best decision for themselves as well. Even if they end up disappointed, even if they end up not getting what they wanted in that moment. There's that kind of wisdom here with the King of Cups and Queen of Cups. So like definitely a wait and see sort of approach that someone used. So who used the wait and see approach? Let's see where my psychic abilities lie. Page of Pentacles. Yeah, so someone who's also just learning. This is someone who, you know, they have the golden ticket, but they're also, this is all about the coins, pentacles are all about learning and abundance, and like also learning what it means to create abundance and how to create abundance and why we create abundance, and you know, our livelihood and that kind of thing. So there's definitely a learning experience here as well for someone, but not in a bad way, like not in a way where like they were, you know, like dragged through the streets for saying the wrong thing. Knight of Cups. So also someone who's very romantic. Like this is like the Romeo and Juliet. Like, oh Romeo, Romeo, where art thou found Romeo? Like very romantic sort of essence as well. And just as much as the Pocahontas, like, and I know every rock and tree and creature, like that. Very dreamy. Some people, when they read tarot, like if you follow other readers, they're like, it gets vicious very quickly. Everything's like subjective, and people who, I think that some people can have, I personally like, some people can have very intense emotions, and some people have more intense emotions than others. And this is also someone who knows that them and other people have this sort of rich emotional world within each individual, and everyone goes through heartbreak, everyone gets victimized by something, but they're, you know, people learn and they find victory in how to stand up for themselves, and how to you know, persuade people and influence people, and get disappointed along the way, like, you know, get kicked around a little bit too. So who got kicked around? This is the Eight of Cups. So yeah, so someone we've been seeing a lot of this in my readings, like someone's definitely disappointed with how their life has turned out. Maybe they got kicked around a little bit too much. Yeah, someone has had a really rough time. But there's love too at the end of the tunnel. So like we had the Eight of Cups and then the Five of Cups, which is also again all about disappointment. But change in that disappointment, like five signifies change. And that's kind of also what spring, with the first couple weeks of spring are. It's just like the initiation, the change. It's sort of like a tower moment as well. But then seeking more because of the disappointed, and like having better decision making skills, and that kind of thing. But there's love here. You know, this is very romantic again. Two people talking in a courtyard, and just sort of enjoying their day-to-day activities and happening to bump into each other. And this is a Seven of Cups. So there's definitely like confusion as well, and that's another thing is like I feel like amidst all this like these downloads that I'm getting, I'm also getting it's very confusing, this sort of someone who's navigating, but there's a masculine here who's kind of at the top of their game, but there's been so much confusion and illusion and heartbreak and trauma and that kind of thing, disappointment along the way, that they've kind of just like just live in the most present moment as a coping mechanism as well, because they know everything's sort of out of their control. Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, so there's a muse here too. Someone who's very stable. Someone, this is Virgo energy, Earth energy, so Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. This is someone who has everything that they could possibly need and more, except for love. And the thing is too is that like it's so crazy how much things have like evolved in just like the last 50 years. Like 50 years ago, most people, they stuck with their high school sweetheart, or they got married to someone they met in college. Typically in like smaller communities, and when you're socialized at such a young age, like younger than 25, like those are the relationships that you're going to have for your rest of your life. And most people meet people that way, 50 years ago. But now there's just so much change. There's been so much evolution in terms of how people are communicating with each other because of the internet. Like you have like, there's just everything. There's like the dating apps. There's like you can meet someone online who lives in Belarus or Bangladesh, and then have them come to your home country and marry them, and it's just there's just like a huge way, there's a huge difference in how people interact and communicate with one another, and just what modern society is, and globalization. Like globalization was a huge buzzword in like 2014, and now in 2025 it's so interesting how it's just fallen off. It's kind of just like fallen off the I don't know, the stage for the relevance of what people are talking about, because we're in more of a period of nationalism at this point in time. But in 2014, I would say that there was a huge degree of globalization, and the world was opening up. Like I had a friend who I studied with in grad school, and she was half Iranian, and her mom, I think, was like, I'm not sure exactly, but I think French or something like that. And she grew up in America, and her father had worked for, I'm not exactly sure, I think he worked for the American government, and he had been some sort of, like, I don't know, spy or something like that. And she went back to Iran, just like a normal modern American girl, and to visit her family. And it's just incredibly interesting that sort of scenario couldn't exist like 150 years ago. Like I studied abroad in the East Asia for 2 years, and something like that, just like a modern, everyday kind of American girl studying on the other side of the world. Like that didn't happen. Like China only opened up in 1980s during the Nixon presidency. Prior to that, it was completely closed, and it also like reminds me of Edo. Like Edo was closed, like Japan was closed for 600 years prior to being contacted by the outside world, or not even contacted. It's just like they didn't want to have the Western or other influences on their culture. So during the Edo period, they totally closed their borders, and that's been common throughout history. And we still have like untouched tribes. Like there's still tons of them in the Amazon, and in I think in New Guinea as well. I was looking at it on the internet a couple days ago. Just curious. So it kind of has like there's such an evolution in terms of how we connect with one another, and we really don't have like this special connections that make us feel alive, that make us feel connected, that that we get the most out of with just anyone. Even if we meet thousands or tens of thousands of people, like you don't really get that level of intimacy with people who you just meet or swipe left with on the internet. You have to engage with them in some sort of day-to-day activity, like so my point is that someone kind of has that realization too here, like there's not like you can't go seeking. If you go seeking, like you won't necessarily find what you're looking for, you'll find something else. But then there's someone who's mastered the ability to sit and wait and process everything and observe. Yeah, but heartbreak is definitely here. So who's heartbroken? Oh, the Queen of Cups. So there's a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio female, or just a very emotive, female on the board who has really sort of also, what's the word? Self-sabotage their emotional progress by staying hung up on heartbreak and bad situations and, dead-end situations. Justice. Huh. Who's getting justice? So justice in the sun, like it reminds me of like the 49-51 balance. Like there's 51% of the population are females and 49% of the population are males. Like it's some sort of ratio like that. But balanced towards positivity. Also someone here has a very interesting choice. Someone here has a very interesting choice. But they already know what they want. There's desire. There's wanting to give back to someone. There's collaboration. Yeah. Someone found their person here at the end of all the tunnel. And they did it very patiently as well. Huh. I'm just a little overwhelmed at the moment. But there has to be, huh? Someone's manifesting what they want. And that's the thing about also like being psychic and like psychic abilities is that there's only so many things that we can control. Like we can try to control stuff and people get into really awful situations by trying to control the outcome. But when you let go of the outcome, you just let things, fall as they let the pieces fall where they belong, or let the world sort of let enough time pass. Things that you want will come to you because you just emit that sort of energy. Like it's just a law of attraction. So when you have space for positive things and good thinking, abundance and fertility and all those kinds of things, like it'll come rushing in. You have to make space for it. So someone maybe didn't have enough space for that kind of positivity because they're stuck on the past and what has happened with the Five of Cups here. We have the Five of Cups twice. So this is sort of like the concept of space is also very interesting. Like you need to be able to give things space. Like when you go and you kind of like try to constrict in a situation. I saw this really great image on Instagram where they're like pushing like an ice bubble underneath the surface of the ice, and it eventually, like they keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it until it eventually the bubble just disappears. And the expression used, like, this is what happens when you force things. Like when you force certain things, like people try to like force sex or force relationships or force, put pressure. Like when you put pressure on a situation to evolve, and some people are also very good at that, like using all of their sort of capacity to evolve a situation, but it's still very controlling. Like when you let things go, you breathe in, breathe out, and you think about what you really want. You think about what's important to you. You nail it down. And it will come to you because you've made space for it. But when you're too also caught up in, like, when your emotional energy is stuck on things like this, like, I don't have enough, or oh, pity me, poor me, like that kind of thing, like you miss out on certain opportunities. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. Love, light, and blessings, everyone. Have a great